Hi folks, and welcome to our video series for this chapter. We're going to start off talking about constructive dismissal. We've been talking so far in this chapter about employees being separated or terminated from their company for a variety of reasons, and sometimes employees may feel like they've been what we call constructively dismissed. What that means is sometimes employers will terminate your employment, maybe not literally, but they might change your employment significantly so that an employee feels like they have been terminated or they've been demoted. So sometimes examples of this could be a demotion. So say you're a senior manager and now you're reduced to maybe a low level or supervisory position. You might be asked to take a cut in pay or benefits that's very, very significant. You might be forced to resign. You might be forced to retire early. You might even be forced to transfer or have a significant change in your job duties that might lead to a reduction in pay and benefits. Just to share a little story with you, I had a friend who was asked, they were restructuring her job, and she was told that if she wanted to stay employed with the company because they were going to phase out her job, that she would have to move to another location within the company. But that location wasn't just some other office within the same building. It was in a totally different geographic area, one that was a lot more remote than where she had been working, and she would have definitely had to move. So she was going to sue them for constructive dismissal, but the employer did come across with a severance package that was quite lucrative for her to consider if she didn't want to take the job. So she took the severance package. But there are some employers that just expect that she'll take that transfer, uproot your family and go, and be happy with a totally different job, and sometimes it may not even result in a reduction in pay or benefits, but it might be perceived as a demotion or something that's totally unsuitable for you. So you have to be mindful of the fact that employers do sometimes do this. And what you can do is you can try suing for constructive dismissal, but sometimes it's very rare that those claims, especially in tough economic times, will really bear fruit for employees. So hopefully you work with employers that will offer a severance package that might be lucrative enough for you to take. Otherwise, if you don't have anything else, you may take the demotion or the reduction in pay and benefits and look for something else in the meantime. But a lot of employees have pursued constructive dismissal, and they have won. It's just a little more rare in tough economic times. I want to talk a little bit now about if you are a supervisor or manager, and at some point in time you guys will be, and you may have to dismiss an employee. What should you be mindful of? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that you're prepared, which means know how to handle the interview. So handle it professionally in a sensitive way, and some of the things you might want to make sure that you do is make sure you plan the interview very carefully. So make sure that you don't terminate an employee on a Friday, never a good day to do it. We try and avoid Fridays, any pre-holidays or vacation times. So if you know that, say for example, it's the start of a long weekend, so maybe you want to terminate the employee on a Friday because Monday's going to be a holiday. Not a good idea. Okay, we usually find early to midweek is a better time to do it. You also might want to make sure that you have the employee's separation letter, which normally is prepared by the Human Resources Department, available. And normally when an employee is being terminated, there is a release that's given to them that they need to sign. Now, they don't need to sign it in front of you, but make sure you have all of that documentation that you need and that the employee has to consider. You should also make sure that you have phone numbers available if the employee wants to get in touch with outplacement counseling services. These are services that they might want to get in touch with to help them write resumes and help them get in the job market again, or help them look for work, write their resume. Make sure that you have the names and the contacts of those people, and make sure you have HR on standby in case there are some difficult or challenging situations that arise. Now, in our next video, we're going to talk about the rest of the steps in the termination interview after planning the interview.